Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, hi, I'm Becca. I'm the music teacher over at Becca's Music Room. And today we're gonna talk about what I've learned in my first 2 years on Teachers Pay Teachers. So we just passed my 2-year Teacher Pay Teacher anniversary, which is super exciting. It feels like longer, but there you have it. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get into this. I have a few of these videos already. So I have what I learned in my first month, I have my first 6 months, and then my first year of Teachers Pay Teachers. So today is specifically gonna be things that I've learned from September of 2019 to September of 2020. And if anyone has lived through 2020, you would know that that's a lot of things that we have learned already, and the year's not even over. So if you are interested in more things, you can go back and watch those. I'm not gonna repeat myself, so these are all things that actually I have been writing down over the past few months, kind of as they occurred to me, because I knew I was gonna make a video like this. And so they're gonna be different than the other things that I've said, so you can go check those out as well, and I will link them down below. And yeah, let's get started. My Teachers Pay Teacher store is called Becca's Music Room. I started actually as a blogger in September of 2017, and so I started my blog. I blogged for an entire year, and then in September of 2018 I added on my Teachers Pay Teacher store, and I became obsessed. I made many products very quickly. I still make many products very quickly. We are currently at, I think, 340 products, so that's a lot. I was just looking this morning because I uploaded 2 new things today. So yeah, I have been obsessed, and I absolutely love it. I'm also super excited for year number 3 because I have this theory that the 3rd year is kind of when you start to figure things out. Like if you think about your 3rd year of teaching, that's the year of teaching that actually finally starts to make sense, and you finally start to understand things and just all of that. So I'm really excited to see how my 3rd year of TPT goes. But for now, let's talk about year number 2. These are not in any particular order. They're just how I wrote them down. So the first one is gonna be watermarking your previews. This seems to be like a hot topic, but when you create your Teachers Pay Teachers resource, you have like a couple little previews that you put. They usually are like thumbnails or pictures. You have like the 4 that you post, the first one being your cover, and then like 3 more pictures of your product. And then you can also create like a PDF preview that you can upload as well. So I really started making more PDF previews this past year. Actually, I had never done that before. But what I'm talking about is more the pictures. So this is up for debate. And I've heard people say like, oh, TPT blurs it so people can't use them. Sometimes you still can. So with certain products, actually specifically my Kaboom games, there's really only like 3 pages because they're like little tiny cards. And so even though there's a lot of stuff, you can pretty much see the whole thing. And I have had problems where I have found on Pinterest my pictures of my product, and I will click on it and look, and it's like some random website that is not attributing me. I don't know where they got it. I can't even like find where the picture is on the website and stuff like that. So that makes me a little nervous. So since I noticed that was happening, I have started to watermark my previews when necessary. So what I mean by that is like today I uploaded a 36-page PDF like presentation that's like a PowerPoint that you show, and I didn't really need to watermark like each page out of that because when I uploaded the 3 pictures, they're just 3 pictures and I couldn't use those by themselves. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't make any sense. On the flip side, things like my Kaboom game or coloring sheets or things like that where you could just take the 1 page and steal it and print it, I am now watermarking. Now I recently heard, you know, again, someone who was like, you don't need to watermark those. Their reasoning was because TPT does intentionally blur them a bit, which I get, but still I'm kind of like hesitant about it because I have found things, you know, randomly on Pinterest. So this is where I personally am, is I watermark things if you could use that page by itself, and if it doesn't make sense or you really couldn't, like my matching games, if it's 1 page, like they're not gonna have enough to play the matching game, so I don't really worry about it. As far as the PDF preview, definitely watermark anything that is in that could be printed and used. Coffee break. Ooh, that needs more milk. That is strong. All right, the second thing I learned that was very important this year was how to make digital products. So if you saw my video about how I turned my shop around in the beginning of 2020, then you'll know that I had a total of 0 digital products in March when the world shut down and we suddenly went virtual, and I didn't even know how to make digital products. I knew nothing. But when my sales went from, you know, $100 a day to like nothing, I learned how to make digital products really, really quickly. I also have some videos about making digital products. Actually, I have a whole webinar, so I will link the webinar about it down below that has like step-by-step every single thing you need. We have been rocking and rolling on the Google Slides activities. Since we've gotten back in school, I have taken the course of trying to have a digital and a printable version of pretty much everything, as long as it makes sense again. But it's not always possible, but like if I can, then I will. Even to the point where like my song packs always have like a PowerPoint and they have like worksheets, and now I include a PowerPoint and worksheets and Google Slides activities just in case. Because I think that even if we return to school, because I'm still teaching from this office, when we return to school, people are still going to be using a lot of digital activities. So, and a lot of people are in school and are using a lot of digital activities. All right, number 3 goes right along with that, and that is how to make boom cards. So I totally have Kayla to thank. I will link her Instagram down below for boom cards. She actually messaged me. I had never heard of them, and she messaged me and was like, hey, you have to try this. You would be so good at it and it would be so much fun. And like with most everything, I tried it and got pretty much obsessed. And so now we have been making a lot of boom cards. Now I kind of took a hiatus and I just uploaded a ton yesterday actually of boom cards, and I got a few emails that said my boom sales were exploding, so I'll have to check on that and see how it's going. I haven't made a ton so far, which I attribute to the fact that I really I made a few and then I kind of didn't do much with it, and then I just put a whole bunch of things up. So I'm looking to do more in the future. I do have a question. If you are a boom seller and you sell on TPT, do you sell your boom cards on Teachers Pay Teachers? Because so far my decks that are on Teachers Pay Teachers haven't sold very well. Like they do fine on boom, but on TPT they don't sell very well. So let me know down below if you think it's worth it to sell them on both. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link a video down below. The next one is one I've already kind of talked about, and that is how to completely pivot your store when necessary. So I definitely don't anticipate another March of 2020. Granted, I didn't anticipate this year, but now I know that if something like that happens, I have the flexibility and the mental capability and the stick-to-itiveness to be able to figure out what to do if we have those sorts of problems again, or something different that just completely changes things overnight. Although that's something I don't really think I can replicate, and I don't really want to replicate, it's nice to know that you can. The next thing that I learned, it might seem a little bit silly, but it is all about talking to your audience. In my first 2 years of my business, blogging, all of that, I really didn't talk that much to my audience members. It's just in the last year or so that I've really tried and started being intentional about talking to my audience members, and it has changed my life. Now, to be honest, I have y'all to thank for that, those of you who've been around YouTube for at least a few months, and it really was more of you. Like, you found me on Instagram and came over and talked, and so then I kind of took that and rolled with it once I created the new Instagram where we talk just about TPT, Becca.e.davis. And so over there we talk Teachers Pay Teachers all day, every day. And I have really been trying to be intentional about messaging people who follow me and commenting on people's posts and doing all of these things. And then I've also taken that into the other areas, like into Becca's music room, trying to talk to them on Instagram, trying to get them involved, and trying to, you know, I've started doing live videos and things like that that just have really been trying to get people involved in my business so that I can actually talk to you guys and know what's up. I absolutely love it. Business-wise, it has really helped me to figure out kind of where I need to go, you know, what videos I need to make, what blog posts I need to write. And as far as for me, selfishly, I have really enjoyed it. Even my husband mentioned the other day, he was like, you know, you're still like at home by yourself every day, because we're still at home by ourselves every day. In October, I'm still teaching virtually, but he was like, but you talk to people like all day, every day. And I was like, yeah, I pretty much always have a couple of DMs on Instagram. I am always replying to emails and talking to you guys on comments and just all of the things. And it is one of my favorite things. I am not perfect. I do try my best, but I'm not perfect as far as like, you know, answering every single thing, but I do try. So if you ever want to talk to me, hop over to Instagram, just shoot me a message, or I might even beat you to it. Along with that, because I know you're thinking more in terms of the monetary and like how to grow your business, talking to people has really helped forge more relationships, which has helped them to bring more people to me, and also for, yes, to make a little bit more money. Even just the other day, I was chatting with someone in DMs. They saw something on my stories that was new and they were like, oh my gosh, where can I get this? And I sent them a link and they literally purchased like 2 seconds later. It was amazing, just gotta say. But like that happened because we were already talking, and I didn't go into it like, how can I get this person to buy something new? No, I went into it just to talk and just to chat and just to, you know, connect with my audience members. But what I got out of it was a little bit of money. So that was nice. I've also had a lot of people who have brought their friends over, or if you are one of my TBT people, I've had a lot of you send your music teacher friends over to my music teacher Instagram to follow me over there, which I totally appreciate. And yeah, it's just been so great. And again, just so much fun. Like I feel like it's brought more life into my business, because it's no longer like I put up these things and someone may or may not, you know, buy them, or I post something and that's pretty much it. It's much less of a one-sided conversation now, which is just so much more fun on top of so much more profitable. That being said, don't do it with the intention of being profitable. Do it because you should and it will help you out, and also because it's fun. The next two are not going to surprise anybody who's been here for more than 5 minutes. The next one is getting intentional with product lines. I know you were like, you were probably sitting there waiting for it because you just knew, I had to bring up product lines. So I try to post on TBT mostly things that I'm using in my classroom, which is great. However, it led to a lot of like, here's one random set of rhythm cards and here's one random centers activity, and things that were just very not congruent. And this year, I really started thinking more of my products as product lines and complete sets, instead of just like, here's something random, here's something random. I'm still doing a couple of one-offs. Even like today I posted, well, it was 2 technically, but they go together, pizza rhythm activities, and those were kind of like one-off activities. I don't currently plan to like go back and do a whole bunch of stuff with them, but I have them. I had already made them. They were pretty much by themselves, so I posted them. However, for the most part, instead of doing one activity, I'm really trying to focus on doing product lines. So it's complete sets of activities. So that takes on different meanings for different things. For example, I talk about my asteroid products a lot because that game is just so much fun and I'm just so happy with it. But I recently posted an asteroid rhythm game, which is so much fun. If you're a music teacher, definitely check it out. I'll link it below. And so there's 4 of them, and I have 4 different rhythm levels. So there's one for each rhythm level, and they're bundled. So 5 products total, technically, and that I consider to be a product line. On the flip side, I am halfway through making my candy rhythm activities, and I currently have 4 Google Slides activities, so 4 corners game, rhythm sorting composition, 4 boom cards, 4 sets of boom cards, so we're at 10. So I'm at 10 currently, and I plan to add 4 Google Forms, 4 printables, I think that's right, 4 printables, and then 4 printable task cards. So I'm gonna end up with about 21 products, and then bundle them all together, of course. And that's a lot of stuff. However, once I made the one, making everything else was so much easier. Once I made, you know, the template for the Google Slides, the rest was super easy. And once I made, I mean, it wasn't like quick or anything, but it wasn't hard. Like I didn't have to completely recreate it from scratch. I already had all the clip art, like everything was ready. I already had things figured out. Once I made the Google Slides activity, the boom cards were super simple to make. I mean, it still took time again, but they weren't hard to make because I already had it going and I was already in that space and kind of rolling with that. So product lines have changed my life. They have changed my life and I am now obsessed. And so even in my like monthly planner and like my goal is now like a product line per month instead of like just here's a bunch of random products. I still, again, have those random products that I do want to post because they're fun or they're great or they're just really good products, but I'm really trying to stick to those product lines because again, it's faster to create because I, you know, got it all going, and then they can make you more money because people go to buy the printable set and they're like, oh, you have Google Slides, oh, there's a Google Forms activity, oh, there's this, oh, there's that, and so they buy more stuff, as well as you can bundle it all together and they can buy the whole thing. When I launched my animal rhythm sort, y'all, I apparently have a lot of rhythm activities. I'm just realizing as I'm saying this, but when I posted my animal rhythm sort, this was my first like big product. I posted the whole thing at one time and it did so well. And I was like, we're never going back. Will also not shock you if you've been hanging out here, and that is how to leverage my email list. I thank you, Jesus. Seriously, thank the Lord. I started my email list when I started my blog way back in 2017 because all the bloggers were like, you have to have an email list, you have to have an email list. And I'm an Enneagram 1, so I'm like, okay, well, if I have to have an email list, then I'm gonna make an email list. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to send them. I knew nothing. But I did get a few signups, and then I eventually kind of started figuring out how to deal with that, how to get more people on, what to send, those kind of things. But this past year was the year that I really got intentional about people getting on my list, as well as using my list to its fullest potential. So I really started to send more emails, send more products in emails, really tried to figure out like what are the best ways to word things and how to phrase things and when's the best time to send them, and all these different things went into this past year of me trying to figure out how to make my email list work really well, and it has paid off so much. We've been doing a whole email list series, so I will link that down below. Everything is in a playlist called All About Email. If there is one thing I can tell you, it is get that dang email list. First of all, I would like to say I have more people on my email list than I do on Instagram. I also have more people on my email list for this channel than my Instagram for this channel. Like, I have more people on my email list than I do on Instagram, and I can actually reach them, as opposed to on Instagram. Instagram may or may not show my posts to people, so that's fun. And then there's so many advantages to email. I'm not going to go into all of them because we've been talking about it, so you can go check that out by itself. But this year, like, we really got into the email list, and I am so glad I did, because it was really a needle moving activity that I am very happy with and has really helped pay off a little bit. So, and the last thing I want to say is this year I really learned that small, consistent work gets rewarded in the end. I feel like for 2 years I have been working my butt off. I work pretty much every day on my business in some capacity, and I know it's easy. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, because I share my income in my income reports, and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you made that much money. And I'm like, y'all, I've been working at this for so long. Like, I have put in the work and put in the effort consistently every single day, day in, day out. It's like the ball, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill where it like starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's finally starting to get bigger. So it was like all these really minuscule little things, and it's, you know, getting bigger and getting bigger. This year in particular, in 2020, I have been blown away by the growth of my shop, specifically because of all of those things that I put in. Like, I'm still selling, some of my best selling products are some of my first products that are still selling today because I made them, you know, 2 years ago. And then I made a blog post about them, and then I made a video about them. And so I did all these things, and I've promoted them, and I've done all these things to really help get that ball rolling, but I finally feel like it is starting to roll. So I am hopeful and excited for the next year. I cannot wait to see what happens, because I have very big goals, if you haven't figured out. But I'm really excited to see the next year. I have a lot of work to do still, but I am excited for it, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all the work. I'm so excited to continue this journey, and I'm so excited to have you guys along with us. I feel like you, well, those of you who have been here for a while, I feel like you have kind of seen the whole progression, because my YouTube channel actually started at the same time that my TPT shop did. So that's been really fun. My YouTube channel specifically has had a lot of growth this year, if you hadn't noticed. It was very small for a very long time, and it finally has started to gain some traction. So excited you guys are here. I would love to know what you have learned recently about TPT. It could be any random thing. Just leave it down below. These were all, it was just like, here's a bunch of random stuff. And some of them were really specific, and some of them were, you know, like kind of lofty philosophical thoughts. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching. My phone is ringing, so I'm gonna go. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Update. It wasn't even a real phone call. It was an automated message about my warranty that I don't have. Have a great week.